Hunter Biden comes under federal investigation as the deliberate media cover-up completely collapses. In this video, we're going to take a look at the announced federal investigation. We're going to take a look at how the media's attempt to hide the scandal has completely unraveled and how things are beginning to implode for the Biden family racket. You are not going to want to miss this. Welcome everyone, Dr. Steve here with you, ready to bring you our latest episode celebrating the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We'd love to have you as a regular part of this channel where each and every day we together focus on optimism and encouragement in the midst of all the defeatist fake news nonsense spewed out by the mainstream media. Before we dive in here, let's give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's our good friends over at Noble Gold. Now, if you're sick of the low returns and volatility from the market, then it really is time to look at gold and silver, and that is where our good friends over at Noble Gold come in. Gang, there's simply never been a better time to start a gold or silver IRA in your portfolio, and the amazing staff over at Noble Gold are ready to help you in any way that they can. And if that's not incentive enough, Noble Gold is gifting a 1/10 ounce solid gold American Eagle proof coin like this one with every qualifying IRA or 401k rollover going through December. So don't wait. Click on that link below or visit the website at noblegoldinvestments.com or give them a call at 877-646-5347. Make sure to mention my name, Dr. Steve Turley. Let's ride that gold wave together. All right, so let's dive right in here. You know, after nearly 3 months of being told that the Hunter Biden scandal is a non-story that's long been debunked, that the laptop from hell was nothing more than Russian disinformation, and the desperate final gasps of a Trump campaign that was losing the election by 20 points after month of smug dismissals from the hecklers disguised as reporters at the White House and the left-wing activists disguised as journalists in the mainstream media, it has now been confirmed that Hunter Biden is indeed under federal investigation. I mean, we should just stop the video right there, right? Or shall I produce a litany of examples of the mainstream media either covering their eyes or plugging their ears over this story over the last few months because they certainly weren't covering their mouths? Look at this from the Washington Post back in October. The truth behind the Hunter Biden non-scandal. Here's one from Rolling Stone. A few things to keep in mind as Trump attacks Hunter Biden. Trump and his allies are accusing Joe and Hunter Biden of corruption. It's a mix of innuendo, fabrication, and projection. Oh, really? By the way, I looked at Rolling Stone today. I didn't see a single thing on Hunter. Isn't that convenient? Or here's Politico gleefully declaring back in October, MAGA scrambles to repair the Hunter Biden narrative. Notice their narrative, right? This was a Trump narrative tainting Hunter Biden. Oh, really? Is that what they were doing? Really? Well, Politico is saying something very, very different today. Justice Department's interest in Hunter Biden covered more than taxes. Federal prosecutors also have investigated foreign ties and possible money laundering. Wow. That's a pretty freaking cool narrative, guys. First, Hunter passed through the 7 levels of the candy cane forest, through the sea of swirly, twirly gumdrops, and then he went through Air Force 2 and got $1.2 billion from China. Ha! Who put that story together? Politico? Did you do that? That's awesome. What a non-scandal, right, Washington Post? You'll forgive me if I come across as a bit sarcastic today because as of today, we now know that virtually everything we heard from the mainstream media leading up to the election and their utter denial that there was anything to see here with regard to Hunter Biden. It didn't come up in the town halls with Joe Biden. It didn't come up in the debates. We now know that what the mainstream media was telling us was all a lie. I mean, we're living in bizarre times. We're living in times where those who claim Russian disinformation are themselves involved in disinformation. Those who accuse us of fake news are the very ones who peddle in fake news. But let's dive into this a bit here, because this is gigantic. I think this is the beginning of the end of the Biden family racket. So Here's what we got so far. My namesake, Jonathan Turley, has a nice write-up on this. Hunter Biden confirmed yesterday that he is indeed under investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Delaware for possible tax violations. Now, we should note, by the way, we'll get into it, tax violations appear to be just the tip of the iceberg here, okay? Tax violations are just there to get the investigation going, to get the foot into the sordid world of Hunter Biden here. For years, the media has maintained a virtual blackout on Hunter Biden's stories, even as some of us noted that a 2019 subpoena indicated an active criminal investigation. Apparently, there was no way to say this nicely, so the media said virtually nothing at all. The son of the incoming president will now be investigated by his father's Justice Department. In the meantime, many in the media are still struggling with the journalistic version of the denial stage in the Kubler-Ross stages of grieving. The move during the lame duck period could reflect a desire to iron plate the investigation before the arrival of a Biden Justice Department. It will certainly add a new complication to any already difficult situation with a pending special counsel investigation. Now, again, if you're not familiar, the hard drive from hell story broke back on October 14th via the New York Post, right? The New York Post broke the story that according to emails obtained by the Post, Hunter Biden introduced his father, who was then vice president, to a top executive at Burisma, the corrupt Ukrainian energy firm where Hunter served on the board. And that meeting took place less than a year before Joe Biden threatened to withhold $1 billion in aid from Ukraine until their government fired a special prosecutor investigating Burisma. And of course, these emails were obtained from a MacBook Pro laptop that had been dropped off at a Delaware computer shop back in April 2019, but never picked up. And so as part of the appropriation of the laptop, the owner of the shop was scouring the hard drive, and he found all these emails showing that Joe Biden was indeed scheduled to meet with the Burisma executives months before he intervened and demanded that a prosecutor investigating Burisma be fired. And that's, frankly, when all hell broke loose. If you remember, the media scoffed at it. Facebook and Twitter banned the story. Twitter actually locked the New York Post out of their account. They were accused of buying into Russian disinformation campaign. There were even 50 former intelligence operatives who signed a letter that this was nothing more than Russian disinformation. You had James Clapper, of course, come out and say that on CNN. And now we know, particularly from Project Veritas and their sting of CNN committee meetings, where they recorded conversations between Jeff Zucker and CNN operatives, we now know they discussed deliberately burying the story, and they were going to push the notion that the story had been debunked long ago. But this, of course, deliberately turned a blind eye to the fact that the Post broke brand new evidence, which put the lie to Joe Biden's repeated denials they knew anything about Hunter Biden's business dealings overseas, including in China, where Biden, as vice president back in 2013, took Hunter for a 2-week visit on Air Force Two, where he was introduced to a lot of bigwigs in China, and he ended up walking away with a $1.5 billion deal with a subsidiary of a Chinese bank. Whereas Joe Biden basically came away empty-handed from the meeting as vice president. He was trying to get the Chinese to stop stealing American intellectual property. He was trying to get them to stop militarizing the China Sea, threatening American allies and the like. And China completely blew off Joe Biden. And the only price that they had to pay for that was a few deals for Hunter Biden. Now, Politico's story gets even better. You're not going to believe this. But first, you are all invited to an exclusive Q&A that I'm holding tonight, December 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have direct access to one another, and I'm going to answer your questions and help you think better so you can feel better about everything that's going on with this election, even the threats of YouTube, of banning videos and the like, criticizing this election. Now, you have to be a member of the Insiders Club to join. So if you're not a member, all you need to do is click on the link down below in the pinned comment section and join my exclusive club right now, and you're going to get your first 2 weeks absolutely free. No obligation. We want you to be a part of this Q&A. You're going to love it. So make sure to click on that link below and become an Insiders member and get your first 2 weeks absolutely free. And I'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for our live Q&A. All right, so Politico is reporting that the real brains of the operation for the Biden family is actually their brother, James Biden. And now he's under investigation, particularly a hospital business deal that the Biden family is a part of. Now, it should be noted that Joe Biden himself is not under investigation, but obviously, again, this is Politico. If Biden takes office, this is going to radically complicate his presidency, right? This investigation of his family members, his son, and now his brother, James. Even Geraldo Rivera's come out and said that Hunter is basically an absolute parasite who's going to taint his father's presidency permanently. There's just no question this thing is absolutely gigantic, and it looks like it's going to eventually explode. Again, as Politico reported, this isn't just about taxes, gang. This is really about very deep ties with the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, that appear to have sought to buy influence through Hunter and with Joe. James overseeing and orchestrating the whole operation repeatedly. So the big takeaway in all of this, of course, is the fact that the mainstream media that for months told us that there was nothing to see here are once again demonstrating themselves to no longer be fit for purpose. They're once again revealing themselves to be activists rather than journalists, advocates rather than reporters, and it's becoming increasingly evident as more and more are starting to ask, why didn't we know about this before the election? It's becoming more and more evident to more and more people that the media's activism is radically compromising their capacity to reliably mediate information in a responsible and fair manner, and it's only going to get worse. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and definitely subscribe to my channel, and you will definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it from last night, our live stream, where we dealt directly with YouTube's threat to ban any video that would claim that fraud adversely impacted the election results. I argue that such threats are just going to explode the populist revolt. You're not going to want to miss that. So make sure to click on the link and I will see you over there. God bless.